Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lost in the Real. This is Sean.
And this is Morgan.
And today we are talking about HBO Max's new horror comedy, The Parenting. So HBO Max's The Parenting is going to be coming out on HBO Max March 13th. What's it all about, Morgan?
So it's about a young couple who are about to get engaged, and they invite their parents, both parents, to this rented house in the middle of nowhere to try to get to know each other for the first time. Little do they know that there's also a 400-year-old demon residing in the house, and they not only have to battle that, but also the dynamics of all the parents and families like meeting together for the first time.
Whew. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
A lot, a lot. So, Sean, what did you think of The Parenting?
The Parenting. So this movie I feel like has gotten absolutely no buzz at all. And the trailer just came out last week and it's coming out this week. So I feel like HBO Max is kind of like just pooping it out on their streaming service. So I didn't have a lot of high hopes, but I was pleasantly surprised by this movie for a lot of different reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is because I think this movie is very reminiscent of like some 80s and 90s horror comedies that came out that weren't afraid to be not politically correct and raunchy and gross out and silly and stupid and just kind of be ridiculous. Um, and just not ashamed of it. And sometimes this movie doesn't do it right and it falls flat, and sometimes it's really funny and really quite ingenious. But it was a little refreshing to see a movie like this come out. Even though it is on streaming, I don't think it would do very well in theaters at all. I think this would have fallen flat at the box office. But as someone who enjoys those kind of ridiculous horror comedies, I quite enjoyed it.
Same. I don't know about 80s comedy horror, but I definitely saw like nods to a lot of 80s like just straight up horror in it. And I thought it did such a wonderful job with that. And it's funny, I think in past videos I've said that I think that all horror and specifically comedy horror should be seen in theaters, but sadly I think this one would be just fine seeing it streaming. It's not amazing, but it is entertaining, and I found myself enjoying the plot, the characters, the dynamics, the directing, writing, enough to be like really engaged. And I literally laughed out loud so hard. I think I like threw back my neck, just like guffawed, like.
That was the biggest surprise for me about this movie is like I don't audibly laugh out loud a lot
Okay,
in
psychopath.
movies. It takes a lot, like it really takes a certain type of movie to make me like really laugh. And I think because this movie is so aware of itself and that it's not taking itself seriously at all, like I was just having fun with it and I laughed out loud like 15 times at least in this movie. Like I thought it was so funny. There was so many things that I was like, "Oh, didn't think they would go there, but they went there." Like and it's like I said, it's raunchy and it's gross out humor that like you don't really see very often in movies anymore, and some people might not like that. But for me, it worked and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, and it's horror, so it's gonna be raunchy, it's gonna be gross, it's gonna be all those things. So
Yeah.
I was expecting that for sure. You don't laugh out loud? I feel like I've heard you laugh out loud next to me. I don't.
I mean, I definitely do, but not as often as I did in this movie. Like, and it was so like it just like, and also especially when I'm watching a movie at home.
Mm,
Like when I'm in
mm-hmm.
a theater and there's like other people laughing, like there's like that feeling of like you like laughter together, right?
Yeah,
But when you're
contagious.
watching a movie at home, like I'm very conscious about like, oh, like that was funny, but like I didn't laugh out loud, you know? But with this movie, like literally I was just laughing out loud. Like I thought it was really stupid humor, but it was really funny. Like there was a fart joke in here and I laughed at it. I was like, that was funny to me. I don't know why. No, I normally wouldn't laugh at a fart joke, but here I am.
I definitely rolled my eyes at that fart joke, so we have different styles of humor apparently.
But like even like there's like the dick jokes in it and like but like then there's like weird quirky humor like when they're talking about the bird and like at the very beginning like them talking about like hypotheticals the couple and
Yes.
I thought that was super funny. I don't know, there was a lot of humor here that worked for me and it was very surprising, at
And then
least to me.
I know I love that. And then can we go back to the humor between the hypotheticals between the couple, the main couple?
Yeah.
Um, this for me, the movie, I felt the relationships. I felt the characters were real. The parents of
Yep.
both the men and like the best friend thrown in there. Like
Yep.
I like there were parts when the parents were interacting and like the just the whole dynamics. My palms were a little sweaty. I was like, oh, awkward family situations. I feel it, and they did a great job with that.
They absolutely did. I thought the chemistry between the cast was great. I thought every actor was perfect. Lisa Kudrow, once again, MVP. I thought she was freaking hilarious. But like every single actor here was so good. They're firing on all cylinders. And it was just fun seeing people like Dean Norris and Brian Cox, especially, like really not taking himself seriously, especially after Succession. Um, sorry, I'm thinking about the
I
naked
know.
scene. But like it was just fun. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I just had a damn good time. Like honestly, I would watch it again right now, probably. Like
Oh
it
wow.
like it's one of those movies like I think I'll definitely watch again because I just had a good time with it. And I think what you said about the relationships is what is important about this film too, because you care about these people. And I liked that we had this gay couple at the center of it, but it wasn't all about like, oh, it's because they're gay. You know, it was like that is a part of them and why this situation might be a little bit more unique than other certain situations where a straight couple gets together. But
Mm-hmm.
like besides that, like it felt natural, it felt real. The humor felt earned between all of the different characters, and I don't know, it was a good script.
It was a solid script. I wouldn't say it was, in my opinion, it was a solid script. I don't know if it was good.
Solid and good. I don't know. You're right. And especially near the end, it gets a little wonky.
A
Like,
little wonky, but like overall very enjoyable. Like I just love the cast and just to see them. Like you told me about this movie and I was just like here for it. Like
yeah,
horror comedy with this cast. I've never seen Edie Falco be so goofy before. Like
and I
yes.
love that. And and that's why it's like Brian Cox and Edie Falco together. Like, whoa, okay, like those are some serious dramatic actors, and to have them being so funny and silly, and like Dean Norris too from Breaking Bad, with with Lisa Kudrow. Like, I don't know, it worked,
It
and I
worked.
loved it. Just another thing that did work for me was the relationship between the couple. And I don't know, they had a good chemistry with each other. And the fact that like one of them lost their jobs and the other one is like trying to be perfect for his mom and his dad doesn't give him a lot of love and he's adopted. Like there was an interesting dynamic between the two characters and then also their parents that I really liked. And then bringing the parents in and having um, that exacerbate all of the problems in the relationship, but then them come together. I don't know. It just the whole formula worked for me. I know we've seen it before, and I was kind of thinking in this movie, it reminds me of definitely it's Meet the Parents meets Scooby Doo meets meets Death Becomes Her. That's like the three movies that I was thinking of, like that like reminded me of the tone and the feel of this movie, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, you had me at from Meet the Parents, Scooby Doo, and then Death Becomes Her. I don't quite see that. Maybe the comedy, I guess, is what you're.
Yeah, it's the tone, it's the campiness of it. Like
Yeah,
Death Becomes Her is such a camp movie, and this movie to me is so campy. Like
yeah,
it's
but
schlocky, it's campy, it's silly.
Death Becomes Her is up here, bro. But okay,
Well, no, this is not nearly on the level of Death Becomes Her.
okay,
Absolutely not.
okay, okay.
Not
Just
trying to say that by any means, but like just the feeling of the movie that I got.
I see it. Yeah, but I do. I love. Well, it's just refreshing to see a gay couple
Mhm.
on the big screen. I don't know. I'm always just like thirsty for it. But and yeah, the juxtaposition of the character is like one being like, I'm gonna follow my passion. I think he was. I think he quit his job. I don't think he was fired. Well, and then the strict parents, the control, not the controlling, but like kind of type A boyfriend fiance, and like the lax parenting of the other boyfriend and like Lisa Kudrow and like yeah, I love that dynamic so much, and they did a really good job with that.
Mhm.
And Parker Posey's character, like, are you kidding me? Like,
I know. I don't know how I feel about Parker Posey after this whole Blake Lively situation and that interview, but
oh, I don't know anything about that.
that's a whole different story.
I'm not gonna
But
touch that
Parker
right now.
Posey is ridiculous in this movie, and I loved
Okay.
it.
Ooh, tell me more about that later. But like,
Oh, I will,
okay.
girl. I will.
Um, but no, yeah, I loved all that. And then for me, like, I love comedy, but I am here
Mhm.
for the horror, and this horror delivered, in my opinion. It was creepy on some levels, and I definitely was just like, I was watching it in bed, and I was just like, I pulled the blanket up certain scenes. I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? So they delivered in that. You know, sometimes they focus too much on the comedy and they don't deliver on the horror, even though they say it's gonna be a horror. But I thought they did a good job with it. It was
It was a
balanced.
good balance, definitely. Like the comedy never stopped. It was throughout the whole movie, so I appreciated that. But there was definitely a moment when the horror obviously elevated itself. And like there were a few moments, like especially there's like a moment where someone's like banging their head against something, and I was like, "Whoa, that was creepy." And then like there was like definitely certain moments that got me, and yeah, like the horror worked. It did what it needed to do. And it is what makes this movie even more special. Like not just like a Meet the Parents, with gay guys. Like it's literally like there's something extra to this movie. And like I said, it's goofy, it's silly, and but it's still there's a little bit of scare there too. Okay, Morgan. So, what would you give the parenting out of five?
I'm gonna give it a solid 2 out of 5. It was. It's so funny that you say that you would rewatch it right away. I think I could give it a good amount of time before I rewatch it, but it
Okay.
was very entertaining. It hit everything. Some of the jokes fell flat. Some of them made me just laugh out loud. Um, but it was an amazing. I've definitely seen better horror comedy. Even with this like kind of all star cast, I thought it fell flat. Um, so it wasn't amazing. So yeah, just solid 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5 is really low. But I'm surprised.
No,
I don't know. I would if I laugh out loud at a movie unless it's non-intentional, I would never give it a 2 out of 5. But that's okay. I
um
I'm here for your grade.
honestly, I laughed out loud probably 5 times versus your
Fine.
15. It didn't make me, and there I like the fart joke. There were certain jokes where I just kind of rolled my eyes a lot more. And if I'm rolling my eyes, yeah,
That's fair.
2.5.
And
2 out of 5.
I 2.5,
No, 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Okay. I was like 2 give it a 0.5. No.
Like, okay, nah, yeah, that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
I might be definitely on a lone island with this one, but I had a lot of fun with this movie. And it kind of delivered exactly what I was looking for with the laughs and with the horror and just being silly and not taking itself too seriously. And I just found it refreshing. Like, because I feel like so many movies are afraid to go to certain places. And this movie didn't feel like it was afraid to just kind of go there and try it. And like I said, some of the time it didn't work, some of the time it really did work. But for me, I like movies that take swings, and I think a lot worked in this movie. So for me, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Three. What?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Like I said, I would literally rewatch it again right now. I enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I liked the setup, and most of it worked for me.
That is
Besides, the end was a little like, but movies have a hard time finishing off their finales, anyways, nowadays. So
real, and especially like in horror, like it's so hard to get a good ending in a horror.
yeah.
Um, Shocking. I don't know. Yeah, there's something about it being like because it's a HBO Max like budget, they could have
Mhm.
done a lot more. So that's why, like, if you gave me an indie film with similar stuff, like maybe
Mm.
higher, but like, nah, I don't know, solid two.
That's fair. And once again, I think this is going to be a divisive movie. I think there's going to be a lot of people that think it's really stupid and they hate it, and they're more maybe on your side. But I feel like there's going to be some people who love that schlocky 80s horror that might like it like me. So
Yeah.
you definitely have two different opinions here. So take it or leave it. If you think you're going to like something silly, stupid, doesn't take itself too seriously, horror comedy, then check out The Parenting. If not, don't. Thank you so much for watching Lost in the Reel.
And please let us know, like, what has been your favorite horror comedy of like maybe the last decade. We won't go all time, but like the last decade.
Mhm.
Any recent films that you think you really enjoyed? Please let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and then what you thought of The Parenting as well.
I'm super curious to hear what people have to say about this movie because I have no idea. Like, I could be literally, like I said, on a lone island and everyone hates this movie. Or maybe it becomes a cult classic. Who knows?
Who
But
knows?
until next time, my friends, take care.